I'm going to jump to this one here because this one's really cool. So again, another JEPM, because this is usually the journal that I get lots of notifications for. So this is a fish article, or I guess like any aquatic animal article. So the study's looking at how well quick start nitrifying products work in freshwater aquariums. So our freshwater aquariums are home to, of course, freshwater fish, as well as some aquatic amphibians, aquatic crustaceans, mollusks, so what have you. Basically anything aquatic where we might consider using one of these products if we need rapid access to a cycled aquarium. So quick backpedaling on that. Aquaria are kind of complex, so whenever we have an aquatic habitat, we need there to be a healthy bacterial population so that waste products that are animals that are in that aquarium aren't going to be accumulating to dangerous levels. So there's a number of different ways that we kind of achieve that balance and achieve that good water quality. Filtration, water changes are kind of just part of it, but ensuring that we have a cycled aquarium is really important. So what we tend to see, or what effectively happens, is we have an aquarium that we need to inoculate with healthy bacteria. So either putting in live plants that are from an established aquarium, or like a slimy kind of algae or biofilm covered rock from an established aquarium. We put it in there and we put a small load of animals in there. So like a couple of small fish or a couple of mollusks or what have you. And what we want to see is that the healthy bacteria that are kind of being seeded from that established aquarium are going to start to grow because they're feeding on the waste products of whatever animals you're putting in there. So there's a cycle of our ammonia, which is ammonia is kind of our primary waste product of a lot of aquatic animals, and it's very toxic. So ammonia, we know that if you have a detectable level of ammonia in your aquarium, that's actually toxic to the animals that are there. And it is invisible, and we don't have any odor at those very low concentrations that are toxic. So ammonia gets kind of eaten by those little bacteria, nitrifying bacteria, that produce nitrites, and then nitrites are less toxic than ammonia, but still kind of toxic. But then we have other bacteria that turn nitrites into nitrates, and nitrates are not very toxic. Although, if you have a vastly high concentration of nitrates, then that can still cause some toxicity. So it's kind of like a sliding scale of ammonia is really toxic, nitrates are less toxic, still kind of toxic, and then nitrates are not very toxic. So it's this sort of cascading effect of these bacteria that are eating the waste products, and then there's a bit of a lag to get their populations to be established so that we don't have these dangerous ammonia spikes in your aquarium. So if you have an uncycled aquarium, what tends to happen is that you put your animals in, and unless you're doing like crazy water changes, or you have ridiculously efficient filtration, which all of those things are not very practical for various reasons. Your animals poop and they urinate, and then they create lots of ammonia, and ammonia is toxic, and then there's no bacteria to take care of it. So these bacteria are also important for biological filtration and a filter. So that's why a lot of filter have these like media, so like those little clay rings, or ceramic rings, or various like foam bits that have lots of surface area. It's to encourage bacterial growth so that you have healthy bacteria in your filter, and you're not only reducing the amount of like particles in your water with physical filtration, and then specifically removing ammonia with chemical filtration, so like zeolite, so that's that kind of white ammo lock or ammonia blocking filter media, but you also have bacteria that are working really hard in the filter media. So there are these products called Quick Start Nitrifying. It's super useful information, Kat. It's really, really great when we test these products, because there's so little actual regulation when it comes to products for our pets, much less products for our exotic animals. So the fact that they're testing this product to see, or testing these products to see, like, do they work like they're supposed to, is huge. So it's really great. So effectively, these quick start nitrifying products are supposed to be are supposed to be sort of like a cheat code for your nitrate cycle in your aquarium. So it's supposed to automatically cycle the aquarium so that, let's say, you really want to set up your aquarium, you have no time, you use the quick cycle product, and then your aquarium is healthy. So that's the goal. Definitely in a hospital setting, this can be super useful if I'm not typically having fish in the hospital, which is the case. Like, we don't see fish really frequently where I'm at. I really like fish patients, but they're not super commonly brought to the vet, at least not in this area. But if I suddenly, have like a fish inpatient, then something like this, a product like this that gives me a rapid nitrifying product or a rapid aquarium cycling product, then that's super appealing to use, because then I don't have to worry about, oh geez, like, am I gonna have to kind of check the ammonia every few hours to make sure that this animal isn't in like a toxic environment, which would be ridiculous. So there are tons and tons of these products. Like, if you Google like aquarium cycling products, or you Google like quick start nitrifying products, then you find tons of them. So these guys tested, I want to say they tested 5 different quick start nitrifying products, and then 4 out of the 5 of them did not reduce total ammonia concentrations. So that's terrible. That's really terrible. So they, like, 80% of the products they tested don't work. So why is that? So is this the result of products just not being tested? Is it a result of quality control? Like, were these products just not stored properly? Did they have like a really long shelf life? Were they on the shelf for forever and they just didn't, like, they went bad? Like, I'm not sure. So I actually haven't read through this whole paper. I kind of like breezed through it a little bit because it's super interesting, but I didn't have time to read the whole thing. So it does go into detail on, they use 6 10-gallon aquariums. Bill had the same setup. They had the same filter, heater, glass cover, and digital thermometer. And so they use a 10% bleach solution to probably kill off. So that's definitely to kill off all of the pre-existing bacteria that might be there, because bleach is very, very antiseptic or disinfectant. Submerge things in bleach, thoroughly rinse with reverse osmosis water. So they collected water samples on various time points to see what was going on with the total ammonia nitrogen, nitrates, and nitrates. So on any aquarium test kit, any good aquarium test kit has your whole nitrogen cycle, or nitrate, ammonia cycle that you test. So they also checked pH, because pH can actually affect how much ammonia is ionizing. And they did a whole bunch of stats. I'm going to scroll through the stats because stats is a bit of a weak point for me. And so effectively they just kind of concluded that many of these quick start nitrifying products, they just don't do what they're supposed to. So from our standpoint, this is a product that I probably wouldn't use in hospital, aside from the one brand that worked, which I think was the Tetra brand. Hang on, they said it. Boop. They said it at the beginning here. Yeah, so the Tetra brand quick start nitrifying product was the only one that had any significant reduction in total ammonia nitrogen. So I would, consider maybe keeping that in hospital if, I'm very worried about having occasional fish patients, like not having enough fish patients that I have like a cycled aquarium that I'm using bacteria from, because I don't have any aquariums at home right now, thankfully, because they're a lot of work. I've had a few aquatic animals like throughout the years and love them. I really miss having like newts. I really miss having an axolotl. But so much work to have an aquatic in the home. So I don't have a really good way to like seed an emergency hospital tank. So I would probably consider keeping like the Tetra product in stock. But also, if I'm doing like a care and husbandry history for patients, which I'm doing for all of my exotic patients, I think that's good quality, really thorough, holistic medicine for exotics. If I'm getting clients to, specify what kind of products they're using, then this is now on my radar as something that, could be ineffective, and maybe this is why they're seeing problems if they're having animals failing to thrive. And of course, if I'm, talking to clients about what products they should use, then these are now going kind of to the bottom of my recommendation list. So I would be really hesitant to recommend any of these products except potentially the Tetra one. And again, it's really hard to say why the Tetra product works. I don't know enough about the chemistry of these products. That's something I'd have to look into to know if the formulas of these various products are very different, or again, is this a storage issue or a quality control issue? So is it a storage at the pet store, or whatever mass retailer issue that, again, they might just be exposed to like extreme heat, or were they frozen, or what have you? Or is it just like a production issue? So is it the people who are making the product that just aren't doing their due diligence with their quality control? So that's really interesting. Really cool, again, to see these products being tested. So